Are you ready for our 39-hour episode?
Barely. Just barely.
Hi, Julie Benzavalli.
Hi, Patrick Hines.
Fam, hey, if you're looking for a place to join us outside of just listening to the apps and you're not into the Facey, why don't you join us on the Disky? It's the Discord.
Discord is super fun. I've been just saying what we're recording every day to get people excited. So today I was like, big day in the TCO world.
Well, because in addition to this, we're recording our first episode of the Karen Reed thing.
The Body in the Snow, yeah.
Yeah. Were people going wild?
Yeah, people are like, oh, God. Like the other day, I was like, you guys, we're doing Southern Fried Lies. God help us all.
God save the queen.
God save us.
Also, join us over on the YouTube. We have over 10,000 subscribers to our YouTube channel now.
Yeah, so it's just our full episodes, only you can see us.
I know. I've been meeting people on tour and they've been saying like some people have switched fully over to YouTube.
Is that right?
Yeah, they're they love watching us. We give good YouTube. It's True Crime Obsessed podcast. We do our full episodes. We do like little previews of the episodes. We did, we're interviewing Nancy from Scamanda. We're putting that all on YouTube as well.
And it's all regular feed episodes.
Yeah, regular feed episodes. That's it, girl. What are we talking about today?
Oh my God, we're talking about a deadly American marriage.
I'm it's an American murder mystery. It's an American mystery montage. No.
Is safe.
I know.
I'm telling you.
I know.
You never know who you think you know.
What have you done? The kids were in bed asleep when this occurred. They had lost their father.
Did you ever see him hit her?
Molly made me lie.
What is the truth and what's not?
On the outside of the house looks like sunshines and rainbows. And on the inside...
We learned that there are secret recordings.
If I hadn't screamed that night, he would have just strangled me.
I never saw my dad ever lay hands on Molly.
My dad is a really amazing person.
I was going to save her life, and I have no regrets.
What really happened?
Who is the victim here?
So we open on November 8th, 2023. We see Sarah and Jack. We're gonna learn they are the kids of our victim, Jason, here.
Yeah, because we also see that in 2015, they were interviewed about their father, Jason, who is our victim.
It's gonna go back and forth from 2015 to today, where the kids were young, and this is when the murder happened, and today they're adults. Like, every single person involved in this crime is in this documentary. It is wild.
Yeah, unfortunately, except for Jason, and we can thank the people we're about to meet for that. So it's August 2nd, not thanking them at all. They are fucking monsters. Yeah. August 2nd, 2015, 8 years earlier, we're in North Carolina. There's a 911 call. And Tom, who is Jack and Sarah, who we just met, the kids, their grandfather. So Tom calls 911. He goes, hello, my name is Tom Martins.
Very calm.
And he will remain calm this entire time.
Yeah.
So punchable. I'm at Panther Creek Court and Long Beach. We need help.
My son-in-law got in a fight with my daughter. I intervened, and I hit him in the head. With what? With a baseball bat. Is he conscious at all? No. Is he breathing? I can't tell.
Tom hit him in the head with what, you ask?
A baseball bat.
Oh, my God.
I know.
He is so calm. We hear Molly in the background crying for help, and we hear her crying right as Tom is telling 911 that Jason is completely unconscious.
Right. We don't know if he's breathing. He's not conscious at all. We meet Lieutenant Wanda Thompson. I'm obsessed with her. I could say that name all day. Lieutenant Wanda Thompson.
Wanda is great.
I know.
Love that.
Absolutely.
She goes, I've been doing this long enough to know that when your phone rings at 3 a.m., it's never good.
Yeah. She's like, I'm up and out the door going to Meadowlands. Meadowlands is the neighborhood in North Carolina.
There is a Wanda-shaped hole in the door. She's like, I'm out of here. 3 a.m., bad news bears. Somebody needs me. I need to help somebody. Wanda-shaped hole in the door. Out she goes.
Can I just tell you, in my live show, there's a point where I walk through a glass door. Like, I smash into a glass door, and I go through it. And
but you're not bringing, it's not like a prop glass door.
No, but I have a picture of it.
Oh, great.
And at my last show, somebody was like, why don't you make that there's a Patrick-shaped hole in the door? Because there literally is.
And you didn't do that?
I've never made that, but going forward.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
It's right in there.
Do you know the first time you made that joke? Must have been, I don't know what episode it was. Somebody in the Facey tell me.
It was early. I think it was the woman who wasn't there. I think it was about the 9/11
I
faker.
remember laughing harder. That was the beginning of like, oh shit, this is going to be good.
Oh God.
I know.
That's where it all started. This is truly, I mean,
that was a great throwback. I'm impressed.
I know. It's the first thing I thought of. And she was like, it's bad news, but I'm out the door. I'm like, Wanda is here to help. So we learn from multiple people. Wanda is one of them.
I go into the house and I look inside the master bedroom, and it's pretty horrific. It's one of the bloodiest crime scenes I've seen in a long time.
She says it's one of the bloodiest crime scenes she has ever seen. I would really love if we didn't have nearly as many photos as we do of this crime scene.
You know, I'm with you. There was a moment I thought we were going to see some images of John because they describe how badly beaten he was. I do think it is worth seeing how violent this crime scene really was.
For the sake of the truth.
For the sake of the truth, yes.
I think we can very easily get that in a handful of photos. We see it a lot, but I know I hear what you're saying. What they're trying to do is say, like, here's what the crime scene is. Here's the bunch of bullshit you're going to be fed.
Yes.
2 and 2 don't mix here.
No. And so the female involved in the story, her name is Molly Corbett. Her husband is Jason Corbett. He's the victim. Molly and her dad are immediately taken downtown because we learn that Molly and her dad have beaten Jason to death. They are going to say in self-defense. We will see about that.
So Molly says that she and Jason were fighting because their daughter had a nightmare and woke him up, and this sent Jason into a rage.
Right.
Jason started to choke Molly. Her dad, Tom, the grandfather, hears her screaming, comes in to save her.
No, it takes way too, and I know why they do it this way, but we'll find out later why the grandfather and the grandmother are there.
Yeah.
Right. They just happen to be, they don't live there with them. They just happen to be visiting and they're sleeping in the basement.
Right. So he hears this arguing and thumping going on upstairs. So Tom, the grandfather,
2 floors away,
grabs a baseball bat and runs upstairs. I'm like, wow, that's a choice.
Do you have any idea where a baseball bat is at your grandparents' house? Because I don't. Or like at your, like, if I'm staying at Steve's parents' house and we're in the guest room down in the basement, I don't know where the baseball bat is.
No, but I know where we have our, like, if you need to grab something if someone's breaking in our apartment. Yes.
But what I'm saying is it's almost as though this baseball bat were staged. You know what I mean?
It's almost as if he knew exactly. And that his first idea is, I need my baseball bat.
I need my baseball bat.
Not like, oh, wow, maybe someone fell.
Right,
maybe
exactly.
He's just going exactly into attack mode.
Exactly.
So Tom busts in. These are all his story. Him and Molly are telling the cops the story.
And remember, Molly is the wife and Tom is the dad of Molly.
The grandfather. And so Tom busts in, sees Jason choking his daughter. And that's when Jason notices Tom, doubles down, actually starts hurting his wife Molly even more.
Saying to her father, I'm going to kill her, according to Tom.
And as Jason, our victim, is saying he's going to kill Molly, he then is dragging Molly
into the bathroom.
And that's when Tom, according to Tom, hits Jason with the baseball bat. And then Jason again, this is all bullshit, but this is Tom's story.
Right, and it's going back and forth now between Molly and Jason.
Yeah, Jason somehow grabs the baseball bat, starts attacking Molly's dad. And that's when, Molly says,
I hit him on the head. You hit him on the head with what? With a good break on my knife hand. Okay. I'm not sure. I hit him on the head or the shoulder.
With a large brick that just happens to be on her nightstand.
Yeah.
That she can pick up with one hand in the middle of all of this enormous brick that we will see later. It's huge.
Yes.
It is described as a cinder block.
Right.
And then hits Jason.
And it's like Molly is sobbing. Tom, the dad, cool as a fucking cucumber.
It's weird because we don't have any specifics. They don't know how many times anyone was hit, but Tom says, quote, it was a battle.
Right.
They were in a fight for their lives. It was a battle. There were weapons. And yet, not a single injury on Molly nor her father.
Or a blood spatter of any kind.
Right.
They are completely unscathed, unchanged, but yet they were both of them in a fight for, to hear them tell it, they were each saving the other one's life.
Yeah.
As Jason was trying to kill them both.
Who flew into a wild, murderous, violent rage because his daughter had a nightmare.
Exactly.
Also, her dad is sitting there like the good North Carolinian man he is.
Oh, yeah.
With his polo shirt and his little teeny tiny shorts, legs crossed.
Legs crossed.
Not a care in the world.
Not
Pete
a care
Carolina.
He just killed a guy.
And so Wanda's like, I'm sorry.
Hi, Ben and Julie.
But you know those shorts and the legs crossed.
Ben's got 20 pairs of them.
The polo shirt, he's late for golf, that whole look.
Totally.
Like, please. So Wanda's like, I'm sorry. Who is the victim here? This doesn't make any sense.
Right.
So we learn, like, the Jason and Molly story.
We see Molly be told that Jason did not survive his injuries, and she is not surprised at all.
No. Well, I mean, she shouldn't
I mean, she bashed his head in with a brick.
We've already seen the crime scene photos. They're horrifying.
Yeah.
So Jason and Molly were together 7 years. They have 2 kids, but they're from Jason's first marriage, Jack and Sarah. And Jason's first wife is named Mags.
Yeah, which, by the way, I love it. Her name is Margaret, but she goes by Mags.
Very Irish.
Yeah.
Which is where Jason's from, by the way.
Yes.
So Jason's first wife is named Mags. Mags died.
Yes. Of an asthma attack, we're told.
Right. So when Lieutenant Wanda asked Molly if she needs to call Jason's family, they're all over in Ireland.
Yeah.
I'm scared they'll try to take the kids.
You guys only go in there?
Yes.
Did you adopt the children?
No.
Okay. Then that's a real possibility.
They were legally married, but Molly, for whatever reason, we'll get into it, never formally adopted the children. So it's a very real possibility.
Wanda says straight to her face, well, it's a real possibility. And
that they're going to be taken from her.
Exactly. Now, we go to Ireland. It's one day after Jason's death. We meet Tracy, who's Jason's sister, and she explains that their brother got a call that Jason was dead. And the story they got was that Molly and Jason had an argument. She pushed him, he fell and hit his head, and he died.
Who told them that story? Because that's not the story we got.
It's not anywhere near the story.
It's not what happened.
No.
Like, who told the family this? Molly?
Right. Well, so speaking of Molly, Tracy, the sister, immediately starts calling Molly. Molly is not taking her calls. And Tracy's just like, all I knew is that I had to get on a flight and go to America right now. Where are the kids? We are their legal guardians based on the will that Jason wrote. Like, we got to get there.
Yeah, so Tracy, Jason's sister, and her husband, David, are the official guardians of the kids. So they are in Janesboro and Limerick in Ireland, and they, within hours, like, they hear about this. But they take the will with them. I love these people.
I know, me too.
And this also means, for many reasons, they know it's going to be a fight. Right. Because why isn't Molly talking to them? And we will learn that they knew that things were very bad between Jason and Molly anyway.
From the jump, we're going to get like some crazy shit that went down on the wedding day that made everybody on Jason's side be like, what? So Detective Wanda says they immediately start coordinating with the district attorney's office to see where the case would go from there. And we meet Alan Martin, he's the assistant district attorney, and he said it was immediately clear that this is going to be a case outside of what we typically deal with. Like the bloodiest crime scene any of them have seen in a career, the most brutalized body any of them have seen in a career.
Also, Tom, the dad, the grandfather, is a retired FBI agent.
So he was an FBI agent for 30 years, half of his career in criminal, he says, the other half counterintelligence.
And Alan's like, he knows, quote, the art of interrogation, and he's taught it to others.
Yeah.
Now, Alan says some amazing things here. He says, Alan's the ADA. He says, we'd be remiss in our duties if we just accepted without any examination what someone who just killed someone is saying to us. And I'm like, look, self-defense is real. If Jason was an abusive asshole, I'm glad he's dead.
Sure.
He's not.
Right.
But the point is we need to ask questions. And if one of the killers is law enforcement, we really need to ask questions. We can't just be like, oh, you're law enforcement? You're all good.
But I do love that the ADA has the foresight to be like,
Tom Martins is a retired FBI agent, and he has been schooled in and has schooled other officers on the art of interrogation. We would be remiss in our duties if we ever just accepted wholesale and without examination what any person who's killed somebody has to say.
This guy's gonna know how to work this interrogation, so we can't he's saying he's already trying to run the interrogation. We see him say to the person interviewing him, perhaps it would be helpful if I launched into my story because it will contribute to my state of mind.
Legs crossed, coffee sipped, girl.
Yeah, I know.
Like, cool as a cucumber.
Do you ever think that, like, if you ever encounter law, like, I will know what to, just based on what we do for a living, I'd be great in an interrogation.
Lawyer.
Yeah, totally.
You say one word, that's all you say.
Yeah. Or if you were to like come home and like your house, your apartment looks weird, like you would immediately know not to touch anything. Get out of there. Don't let anybody
photos,
in.
Look at what time it was.
You know what I mean? Like this a
Check
weird
Fiona's
job that we have.
Fiona probably scared them off. She has a hell of a bark.
Does she?
She's the sweetest. Oh yeah, she has that hound bark.
Do you know that Golden will only bark at dogs that are bigger than him? Golden will go.
He has one of those complexes.
And attack. What is that?
He thinks he's bigger than he is. It happens all the time.
Is that right?
It's very cute.
The only other kind of dog that he will bark at other than dogs that are bigger than him is his own damn reflection. He wants to beat his own ass.
Yeah.
When he sees his reflection in the mirror or in the elevator, he goes bananas.
It's so cute. My first dog, Jesse, used to get like zoomies when he would see himself in the mirror. Because my dad used to take him to the office for a patient. He was like a not official therapy dog, but he was like a little white, little puffy dog. So he would go to the office and the patients loved him. But because my dad was like, he had like mirrors all over the office because it was like physical therapy. And so the first time Jesse saw himself, he was like, who is this?
Who's that fox?
How dare they? And my dad still laughs. He's like, remember when Jesse first saw himself and was like running laps around the office? Like, there's two of me.
Dogs.
Tom, the dad, never says that he saw Molly hit Jason.
Now, Molly beat his skull in with a brick.
Yeah.
And like, that's not up for debate.
No, but they both, like, the two of them attacked Jason.
Yeah.
It's very clear.
Yeah.
Also, Molly's mother is in the house.
Yes.
She's in the basement the entire time. Her name is Sharon. Her story is
Wanda doesn't trust her as far as she can throw her.
Because Sharon, listen to this bullshit. Sharon goes, oh, I woke up in the middle of the night. The dogs were barking.
Yeah.
Molly was screaming. There was thumping. Same word the dad used, by the way. Could be nothing. Could be something.
Of
They're
course.
getting their stories
The dad
together.
just happens to know where the bat is.
Her husband, Tom, Molly's dad, gets up out of bed to take care of the ruckus. And that's when Sharon rolls over and goes back to sleep.
Sharon Martins is telling us she never responded in any way to this horrible, violent, explosive event that was happening right upstairs in a house full of people that she loved. It just doesn't quite add up.
People are screaming. Dogs are barking. You just doze off. You don't check on the two little kids in the house.
Good night.
Sharon, shut up.
That's exactly what she did do, actually.
Yeah, we never hear from her again. Bye. Look at the fucking whatever. So this 911 call sounds fake. All the EMS people are like, no, they're like pretending to do CPR.
Well, and this is new news to me. I've got these friends that are nurses, and they were explaining to me how physically, if you're not breaking ribs when you're doing CPR, then you're not doing it right. It's one of those where it's like, and they're, because you can hear Molly going 1, 2, 3, and they're just faking it.
It's like they say the precision and the rhythm are like too good.
Yes.
It's like they realize
Staying alive.
Right. But like,
yeah.
And you were doing CPR. I thought he was an abusive asshole. Weird.
Right. And also the EMS workers say that by the time they got there, Jason's body was cool to the touch, to the point that one of the EMS workers asked another one, wait, what time did they say this guy went down?
Yeah.
And like Alan and Wanda are both like, it is very possible that they killed Jason and then took as much time as they wanted to get their story straight before calling the cops.
That's exactly what happened.
Like, oh my God. Like, was this premeditated on everybody's part?
No, just Molly's.
Yeah. But the dad was just all in. He's the opposite of me.
I think her dad taught her a lot about how to lie and be manipulative. I mean, I think some of it is inherently Molly because she's fucking out of her mind.
Yes.
But I think her dad was a total enabler.
I'm so glad to hear you say that, because I was watching this and I was like, what if what my thinking about Molly is not correct? Like,
no, she's crazy. She's out of her mind. She's abusive. She's manipulative, and she's a murderer.
Yes.
She's like not living in reality.
And she went into this whole thing with a plan.
Yeah. So within 48 hours, Molly and her family file for guardianship of the kids, full adoption of the kids, and full custody of the kids.
And are still not taking calls from Jason's family.
They're stonewalling the family.
Yeah.
Now, remember, Jason's family knew these kids before Molly did.
Yes, of course.
Again, we're going to say a lot of things here that, like, it doesn't always matter, but in this specific case, it does. So if this doesn't apply to you, congratulations, you're having a great day because the story's fucking horrifying. But like,
really take it in. She said congratulations.
Like, we know, we love chosen family. We know that doesn't matter.
Totally.
I'm talking about this specific situation.
Yeah.
This woman is completely in the wrong to be saying the things that she's saying about these kids. They are not her kids.
Correct.
If this doesn't apply to you,
then move on.
Congratulations. Be grateful for what you have. Consider yourself lucky.
Totally.
Everything we're about to say about like the fact that she's being overbearing and that she considers those kids hers is very specific to this woman and this case.
Yes.
Have I made myself clear?
Crystal.
Fantastic.
Crystal clear is your drag name.
Thank you. That's a great fucking drag name, actually. So not only that, though.
We spoke to the funeral director trying to get to see Jason, and he apologised profusely, but he had been given clear instructions that we were not allowed to view Jason.
I believe that Molly's trying to cremate Jason's body before I got there.
Tracy, Jason's sister, thinks that Molly is trying to have his body cremated before the family can get there. That is fucked.
Yeah.
But the idea of not letting them see the body, I'm kind of on board with that.
But they were given clear instructions not to let them in. That's different.
Well, them or anyone. I went back to watch that part because whatever. My point is, like, we heard how, like, the DA himself is crying when he's explaining what the body looks like.
The family should be given the option.
Yeah,
if they're given clear instructions, that means Molly told them not to be allowed in. That's what happened. Because she doesn't want the family to see what she did to them.
Yeah.
And like you're saying, though, but ADA Allen can't talk about it without crying.
I mean,
like,
we rarely see that.
Yeah, it's really, really bad.
Yeah.
Because Jason's family fought for 4 days, and they were eventually able to see Jason's body. So, I'm sure in many ways they wish they hadn't.
Yeah.
But the family knows something is up. And Tracy immediately makes a promise to her brother Jason. She's going to find out what happened to him, and she's going to take care of those kids.
So DA Allen explains, they get the autopsy results, and he explains how horrific this really was. He says he had abrasions on his forehead, under his eye, under his shoulder blades. He said, and then we get to the head. He said, in 30 years of prosecuting, I've never seen photographs like these. He had so many blows to his head that the pathologist couldn't even count them because they overlapped. And he said a chunk of his skull fell out onto the table during the examination.
It's hard.
Like, that's how, I mean, the overkill here is just absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah, and it's no matter what, it doesn't matter. Like, that is so bad that what they both said and how they both acted in the interrogation makes no sense.
Right.
And it doesn't call for any of this.
Well, and it also just...
Not like anything calls for it, you know what I'm saying?
No, yeah, but what I was going to say was that, like, the brutality that they just experienced, like, if they were normal people who were in such an extreme circumstance that they had to beat a man to death so brutally, you would think that they would be inconsolable.
Or at least covered in, like, a little bit of blood.
Just a tiny bit,
no.
I know.
So 4 days after Jason's death, Jack and Sarah, his kids, need to be interviewed because they were there when this happened.
Yeah.
Jack is 10. And
Sarah's 8.
Yeah. Jack tells, we go through Jack first.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say, it's very clear that these kids were coached.
I mean, they're saying words that, like, that make no sense for an 8 or a 10-year-old to say.
And they're also incredibly calm.
Yes.
They're not terrified or horrified about what just happened to their dad.
Yeah.
Like, they ask, how did your dad die? And he says very calmly,
well, my sister had a nightmare about insect colony. She had fairy blankets and insects all over her bed. And my dad got very mad and he was screaming at my mom, and mom let out a scream. And my grandpa came up and started to hit him with a bat. And then my dad grabbed hold of the bat, grabbed help from the bat.
Well, my sister had a nightmare.
Yes.
Like
Yep.
like as if he's repeating something that was rehearsed.
Because the way this goes, they're not reciting a script. They're trying to get something that they want. And what they want is to stay with Molly.
Right.
And they want
they're 8 and 10.
Right. And so I was thinking about this because I do quizzes with Daisy for school all the time. Trying to get her to memorize something and spit it back to me is very difficult. Mm-hmm. But if I say to her, hey, if you can tell me a general version of this story and you're going to get 100 on the quiz, or you're going to get ice cream at the end of the day, she'll totally be able to do that. And that's what these kids are doing. They're not trying to recite a script. They have vague bullet points they know they have to hit in order for them to get to stay with Molly.
And some of those things are very oddly worded for a child.
Yes.
Like, my mom let out a scream.
Yes.
And then my grandpa came up and started to hit him with a bat. Let out a scream?
Yeah.
And it goes on. I know they're Irish, but come on.
Right.
And
what's crazy
love the Irish people.
in this interview, when they're 8 and 10, they have an American accent.
I know.
And later they have an Irish accent. It's crazy.
So I can't wait to go to Ireland.
Have you ever been?
No, but I have to
beautiful.
go, like,
you
my
gotta,
homeland.
Oh, you gotta go.
Like Italy and Ireland on my top.
Oh my
list.
God.
But anyway, he says Jack is 10 years old and he's describing what happened to his father.
Yeah.
He says, my mom picked up a brick, like a cinder block,
right, and
hit his temple right here and he died.
Yeah.
I'm not an expert on children, but what the fuck?
No, and later, like, both kids will say that their dad was really violent towards Molly all the time. And then they'll be asked, well, did you ever see him hit her? And they'll say once or twice.
But they also use a lot of words that 8-year-olds and 10-year-olds don't generally use.
He would physically and verbally hurt my mommy.
That's unusual and stands out.
That is just not a thing. I don't even think my 11-year-old knows the word verbally.
No,
you know what I mean?
It's just not how any 10-year-old would talk.
No.
And so whenever they ask, so on the one hand, we have these two kids describing extensive abuse.
Yes.
But it's how they're describing it that's very alarming.
Right.
And whenever they're asked how they know something, the answer is always 100% of the time, my mom told me. What is, so what's the truth? What's not? Were they coached? Was their mother, grooming them that Jason was this horrible guy?
Right.
Why aren't they way more upset about this.
Yeah, because they're not. There's no fear in their tone when they're like coloring and drawing. They're like, you know what I mean? They're not reliving memories. They're spitting out things they've been told to say.
These kids are being abused also. Like, what's going on here? It's very clear that like they're not doing the nefarious thing. Like something bad has happened to them.
And we were talking about this off mic. Like I had such complicated feelings about this documentary. With these kids have been forced to relive their trauma over and over and over all throughout their lives, and now they're doing it again, being a part of this documentary. And it's just like this was very hard for me to watch.
Yeah, it was tough. So the cops in North Carolina reach out to Jason's family because they want to verify things that Molly and her father told them.
Oh, my God.
Like how Jason is this trained MMA fighter.
Yeah.
His family is in the IRA.
Because Tom and Molly were trying to justify why they had to use such insane, deadly force. Jason was just a regular guy. He was not into martial arts. He was not an MMA fighter.
He wasn't in the fucking IRA.
But of course, these things are ridiculous. They were just doing everything they could to destroy his character.
Tracy's like, quite frankly, it was pretty fucking insulting.
And to me, it's like, these are such provable lies. Like, why is Tom being so sloppy?
They do that over and over again. And people like that don't give a shit.
Yeah.
They don't care. They just don't care. So none of that shit is true. The truth is that everybody loved Jason. His family meant everything to him.
Yes.
Brendan, his friend, says he was everybody's friend. He's always smiling.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Mags.
Oh my God.
Mags is Jason's first wife, and they were introduced by Lynn, who's Mags' best friend.
And like, you know, Jason's own sister is like, I never thought of Jason as a romantic until he met Mags. Like, she changed everything.
They were super in love,
Yeah.
like meant for each other. Everyone says it. Everyone is like, everything was really great. Like, they couldn't have been happier. They loved each other. They loved their kids. They had great jobs.
Mags opened a creche, we're told. I had to look it up. It's a daycare.
Yeah.
She had a daycare. But we see this video from their wedding day, and my note here is she is just glorious.
Yeah.
Like, I can't explain it any better than that. She just seems amazing. She seems like she's so fun, but so compassionate and empathetic, and just a really good time. There's just something magical about this woman.
And like, they couldn't have been happier, especially because of the kids. Like, it was just like heaven on earth, right?
Yeah.
And then Mags suffers an asthma attack and she dies.
Yeah, we get a little bit into this later. Like, it is a very strange cause of death.
It's a very real cause of death, though. Like, it happens. It's not like unheard of.
Yeah. I mean, yes. It was so like like she had medication. Like, I don't think anything nefarious happened. It's just it's a strange cause of death.
It's a tragic, horrible thing that happened.
Yeah.
Like, she died of an asthma attack, which is a very real way to pass away, as unfortunate and scary as it is. It's not the most common thing in the world, but it does happen.
Yeah, I guess so. It stood out to me as like, that's weird. Not weird in this. I don't think Jason did anything to her.
He did not.
He did not. But like, to me, it felt like a thing you put on a death certificate when there's some sort of like respiratory related illness or something.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Just like to die of an asthma attack I grew up with asthma, and I don't think we've ever heard of a case where somebody's died of asthma in all of the episodes we've done.
Yeah.
It seems
we
strange.
definitely haven't talked about it, but I looked it up today. Like, it's a very real
and
thing.
people do just die of asthma because like she had her inhaler, like you know what I mean, like.
And again, like, it's rare. There are ways to hopefully prevent it, but like, it's not the most uncommon thing. It's not the rarest way.
No, but like, I'm not the only one. Like, the point is, eventually down the road, they're gonna try to say that Jason killed her,
He did not.
which is so stupid and ridiculous. But it doesn't help that it's this kind of vague, weird cause of death.
Sure,
you know.
But Jason was devastated. His sister says,
Jason, in that moment, was just broken into pieces. He would write letters to Mags and leave them at the gravesite.
He was writing letters and leaving them on her graves like a fucking Bronte novel.
every single day.
Like, oh my God.
He misses her. He'd update her about the kids, about like Sarah lost her first tooth.
I was afraid he was going to die of a broken heart. It was that bad.
He says something, oh my God, I took a screenshot of it. It broke my heart. I won't be around for a couple days, so enjoy the champagne and flowers.
That he left for her?
He left for her. You will always be the love of my life and the girl of my dreams. You stole my heart on 6/9/97, which I guess for us would be September 6th. 6/9/97. When we held hands walking into Sean's shop, and God shattered it along with our hopes and dreams when he took you from us. Every day he's writing her letters like this.
Do you ever, because I do this all the time, do you ever just like realize how lucky you are that Mike didn't die?
Every second of the day.
Yeah. I think about it all the time that, like, Steve and I don't have a tragic love story. Like, how amazing that is.
Like, it's why, like, every time one of us leaves the house, like, we say, I love you, we say bye. Like, it's...
This morning, Daisy didn't kiss Dad goodbye on the way, and I made her go back and give him a kiss.
Yeah.
But that's why when we encounter kids like these kids that experience tragedy after tragedy after tragedy, I'm like, I'll take one of those away from those kids. You know? The same thing with the Karen Reed, John's kids and Karen Reed. It's like tragedy after tragedy. And that is what is so fucking heartbreaking about these things.
And Jason, his sister says he had very little space to grieve. He was a single father of 2 very young kids. He had to go to work, so he's dealing with so much, right? And it came out of nowhere. The rug got pulled out from under him.
Yeah.
So he hires an au pair.
Yeah.
That au pair was Molly, and I almost fell out of my chair because Molly sits down.
Too.
I was like, what?
I couldn't believe it.
I was like, why is she in normal clothes?
I know.
Why isn't she shackled a la Lori Vallow, sitting down with Keith Morrison? Like, why the fuck is she here?
I know. And Molly tells us she was in her early 20s. She was in a relationship. She got unexpectedly pregnant and then had a miscarriage. And the miscarriage was devastating. But then she says she also realized she didn't want to spend the rest of her life with that partner. And she thought it would be easier if she just went away. So she joined an au pair company.
And when Jason reached out to me, he indicated on his profile that he had lost his wife. I guess that just pulled on my heartstrings. There were these 2 babies without a mother, and maybe I had an ache to fill that need.
And something about that really spoke to her.
You want to know the truth?
Yeah.
She was engaged at the time. Her fiance wrote a book 3 years before Jason was murdered.
About her?
About her and his experience with her and, like, how he overcame it.
Before she was known for having a bit of Really?
They were engaged. She told him that she was going to Ireland temporarily. She was just in like a mental health facility. She was diagnosed with a bunch of things, and he thought that she was coming back. So she's lying to us right now.
Oh my God.
It's pathological. Like she's just completely, who knows what she believes day to day, minute to minute, but he wrote a book.
Wow. What's the book called?
It's called Turning This Thing Around. His name is Keith.
Oh my God.
So this is the kind of
Mr.
person
Morrison, if you're nasty.
we're dealing with.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So now I'm like, oh my God. So her father, Tom, sits down too, the other murderer.
Uh-huh.
Again, not in a jumpsuit, not shackled, just totally fine, like he's out living his life. And I'm like, this is going to be even worse than I thought.
I know.
This is going to be worse than I thought.
I know.
So this is when Molly starts to talk about things where I'm like, oh, this is, again, really bad. Because she heads to Ireland.
She went with a plan. She went to steal these kids.
Because she also had no experience as an au pair, no experience in childcare. She just lied to like find a mark and find, I'm sorry, the saddest guy on this app. Jason had every right to be sad.
Right.
But she found someone who was vulnerable.
Yeah. And she's like, I'm a young pretty girl.
Bat her eyelashes at.
Yeah.
And what happened is Jason and Molly are romantically involved almost immediately, which has to be illegal in the au pair world.
You would think.
But she's not really an au pair.
No.
But she lied to that agency. Like, that agency should kind of, like, look into the people they allow on their site. And the kids start calling her mom right away, which is also, like, you're the au pair.
But, like, I also feel like, did she tell them to do that?
I'm sure she did.
You know what I mean?
I know she did.
Yeah.
Because we'll get into it later. But, like, I'm sure she was like, no, I'm your mommy now.
Yeah.
Because she says that later.
And we learn about the Jason-Molly relationship. And that, like, I mean, it was mostly driven by Molly. She's the one who's like going on walks on the beach with his family and like drifting behind to like walk with Jason's brother-in-law to be like, I think there's more to this.
And so
I think that we're in love.
Jason wanted to slow things down because he actually wrote this to Molly in several emails, and we have those emails.
I love that Tracy has like gotten into his email and has all the receipts.
I love Tracy.
Yeah.
Jason is focused on the kids, and he's like, look, I know that maybe there's something brewing between us, but like, I don't want them to go through any other drama or trauma in their lives. Like, I really can't have them getting close to someone only for them to disappear again. So like, we got to figure out what this is or what this isn't going to be, or he's trying to have boundaries. And Molly's not receptive. She goes, I'm not going to be strung along until you make a decision. I'm like, I don't think that's what he's saying.
No, but like all she wants is the kids. Like she went into this to steal those kids from him.
So eventually they're engaged, and I'm like, Molly pushed, Molly won.
Yes.
This was her plan the whole time.
And they moved to the United States. She gets him away from his family.
Well, she says, she's like, we decided, and again, because of her and her father, Jason is not here to tell his side of the story.
Right, yeah.
And Molly says,
ultimately, we decided to move to the United States. Mostly, it was the lifestyle, and in particular, the lifestyle in regard to raising children.
Especially when it comes to raising children.
Kids. Yeah.
And I'm like, I just don't know about that. It feels like a dog whistle of some kind.
Yeah.
We don't hear from Jason's family on this, so who knows? It just seems like a ridiculous thing to say.
I know.
I think she dragged him here.
I think she did.
Or manipulated him.
And when you think about it too, like his wife just died. His family is right there. Like, if you're the family, aren't you pissed that the kids are now being taken away? But his family tries to be happy for them. In the beginning, and the kids, by the way, loved the move to North Carolina.
They're 15 and 17.
They love the huge house, the big yard. There's a trampoline. They've got a dog. Yeah. Everyone in town is really nice to them. They're super involved in activities. Like, for the kids, life is really good.
And that's great. The kids, their lives should be great.
Yeah.
Everyone's lives should be great, actually, except for Molly and her father.
Well, there's a handful of other people.
And
I can give you a list of 20.
We're talking about this specific documentary.
Right. Oh, because I'm happy to wander down that road.
I mean, we could. Who has the time? So the wedding's in North Carolina, of course. Jason's whole family went over, quote, to support him. And I'm like, I hear you.
But they're having a good time. Like the night before the wedding, they're all out singing and dancing and drinking and getting hammered.
Molly made them all go to NASCAR.
I know.
Whatever.
You couldn't drag me to NASCAR. There are things that you wouldn't think that I would do that I would do. I would go to a shooting range.
Okay.
I would do things like that. I'm never going to NASCAR.
I feel like it's one of those things where if you're there, you're suddenly rooting for your favorite color car.
But I would feel unsafe, truly, at a NASCAR event.
I'm not itching to go.
No.
Was that unclear?
Somehow I feel like you'd be popular at a NASCAR event, though.
Why?
I don't know. I can just see your look and people at a NASCAR event would like you, I think.
Oh, then I'm definitely not going.
Okay, you should not go.
But everyone says they all had a great time. Like Brendan, the best friend, the atmosphere was fantastic.
Yeah.
If they had fun, great. I just want everyone to be happy. But right on cue, everything changes at the wedding.
I mean, this is either really weird or not weird. I've got a theory on it not being weird.
Oh my God, you're crazy. Tracy, Jason's sister, talks to Susie, the maid of honor. And Susie's like, oh my God, can you believe this whole thing?
I know.
Molly goes over to be the godmother to her best friend Mags's kids, and now she's getting married.
Okay, that, I will say, somebody did DM me today and was like, you have to talk about how the au pair knew the mom as a kid. I'm like, no, that's not real.
That's a lie.
That's a lie.
But Molly is telling all of her American friends.
Yeah.
Molly goes over there to be the godparent to Jason's kids since she was childhood friends with Mags. And now, she's going to be their stepmom.
She's Mags's best friend. Her best friend died. She's the godmother to her kids, and now she's marrying her best friend's husband. Even that alone is fucked up.
I didn't get the best friend part.
That's a red flag anyway, Susie.
She said when they were friends, they were friends. But my thinking on this was just okay, maybe you don't want to be the au pair that married the guy, or you don't want to be that.
So you'd rather marry your best friend's husband?
Well, but to me, it's the lie. It doesn't even matter what it is. You're gonna tell your if I were to tell you that Steve, that under false pretenses, give you a fake story about how I met Steve.
I know.
It's all that to me is the weirdest thing. Jason's whole family is what the hell is going on here?
So no one, because they tell us no one on quote the American side knew that Molly was an au pair. She told them all that she was going over there to be a godmother, and now she's a stepmother.
But then also, when Molly's real best friend now, her maid of honor, finds out that was a lie, nothing changes, and she just goes ahead and with the wedding?
Well, yeah, because Molly's a pathological liar.
Right.
And so it sort of is just there Molly goes again with her lies. Because
we also never see that woman again either.
Bye.
Molly seems, my point though is that it seems like Molly doesn't keep friends around. You know what I mean? Because they don't want them tabulating the lies. So it's not like if that woman was her best friend, we would see more. We don't get anybody from Molly's life in this documentary except for her dad.
So it's August 2015 and the investigation is underway. And things are about to get more insane because they're learning that Molly lies to everyone.
Oh my God.
She told a lady at her book club that she gave birth to Sarah. She is obsessed with these children, and she's erasing Mags. And that is really dangerous and really scary.
Yes.
And not true. And some people there at the book club knew it wasn't true, and Molly knew that those people knew it wasn't true.
That's what I'm laughing at. It's crazy. It's crazy that these people, because I think Molly believes every single thing she's saying.
But she knows she's telling this lie in front of people who know it's a lie, and it's not stopping her.
But we've had this conversation about other people.
Yes.
I think that people...
This is not rare, everybody.
No, I think that people people come...
You know someone who's done something like
Totally.
this, so you know.
I think that Molly, somewhere in her mind, not that she is like inventing memories for herself about actually giving birth, but that she's justified in making up that story because she's been the mom all along. You know what I mean?
That's exactly right.
And it's crazy.
Doesn't make it any less crazy or fucked up or dangerous or scary.
No, but that's why I laughed.
Yeah.
Because it's crazy.
And like she's just telling these lies in front of people who she knows it's a lie, and that doesn't stop her. She also told someone that her sister died of cancer. Did she ever have a sister? Nope. Couldn't die of cancer.
Here we are. We literally cannot find a documentary in which we're not faking cancer.
It's out of control. But it's like, oh, this is pathological. This is like a compulsion. This is really bad. And it also, according to the ADA, makes Molly lose any and all credibility because 3 people were in that room that night. Certainly not Sharon. She needed to get her beauty sleep.
Right.
Tom, her father and former FBI, definitely going to be on Molly's side.
Yeah.
Molly, who's a pathological liar. And Jason, we can't hear his story because they killed him. It's bizarre.
It is really comforting in these instances when the cops aren't falling for the story.
Especially when we have ex-law enforcement.
Yes.
Because usually they're like, what?
Yeah,
like, the blue line goes up and the blue wall goes up and they get stars in their eyes.
And that guy, like Tom, is just also so fucking smug.
He's very smug. So Molly, this is when it gets, again, we're talking about this specific documentary. If it doesn't apply to you, consider yourself lucky.
Yeah.
Molly was adamant about adopting Jason's kids. Today, to Netflix, she says,
I wanted to adopt them because they were my children. I mean, I was their mommy. I was their mama. They were my kiddos.
I'm telling you, Patrick, it was like getting shot 3 times in a row. I'm their mommy. I was their mama. They're my kiddos. And I'm like, we gotta stop with this like
the mama bear. I know.
This language that we all fucking do. It's like too much. And like, for the love of God, Molly, like you're not, because, and you know I'm team chosen family. You know this. In this specific instance, she's out of her mind and she's wrong because she's erasing Mags.
Right.
This isn't like Gabby Petito's family where she was lucky enough to have 4 amazing parents.
Yeah.
This woman is acting like Mags didn't exist. She's saying she gave birth to Sarah. This isn't like, I don't know if this is cool or not, but like people say like bonus mom. I don't know if you have a bonus parent. Whatever like your happy situation is, it's not that. And so the fact that she's making up lies about the origin story.
I think it's all too, like, Jason's gonna be out of the picture in her mind and she's gonna have these kids.
Right.
Like, she went on that au pair site looking for a family that she could steal the kids from.
And the fact that she's erasing Mags from the narrative is where it's like, oh, that's insane. That's not what happens. When you're a step or whatever, or there's a widow or something, like that person still existed.
Yeah.
Good, bad, or otherwise, they existed.
Yeah, so it's August 15th, 2015. It's 13 days after Jason's death, and the custody battle is raging because Molly still has possession of the children, even though the aunt and the uncle from Ireland are the like legal guardians according to Jason's will.
And Molly's telling these kids, oh, she's winning. She's showing them the new houses and cars that they're gonna have. And like, I'm like, hi, their father has been brutally murdered.
13 days ago.
Are they grieving? And are we ever gonna talk about this enormous brick you had on your nightstand, Molly?
I know.
What is going on?
But a judge shuts it down.
Because Jason's family's like, look, these children are Irish citizens. Their father's an Irish citizen. Nothing was ever signed giving Molly any rights at all. Why is this even a conversation?
And it was like intentionally not signed.
And there's an open and active investigation.
Right.
Why are we even here?
Right.
And the judge is like, girl, hurry. Send them back.
Bye.
But Molly...
Oh, yeah.
Again, to Netflix. She's sitting on camera. She put her lip gloss out. Like, she knows this is being recorded and set out to the world.
Yeah.
She's here to tell her story. She says to us.
All these people, have said, well, Jason wanted his children to be in Ireland with their family. Jason wanted to be alive. Jason didn't think he was going to die. I didn't think he was going to die. And I don't know if some crazy world where he thought he was going to die, I believe he would have wanted the children to be with their mother.
He didn't think he was going to die. And then she catches herself and she goes, I didn't think he was going to die.
Yeah.
What did you just say to me?
I know.
He wanted to be alive. He didn't think he was going to die. No, Molly, what are you saying to me?
Yeah, and like I have so many questions about how the death went down and why and what the actual plan was. I
have some theories when we get there.
Yeah.
Who the hell knows?
I know. But also, like, the way that Jack and Sarah both describe the trauma of their last visit with Molly, because Molly's trying to play it out like she has lost. They are going to their aunt and uncle. She's
in Ireland, like very far away from Molly.
And Molly is trying to make it like she's going to see them again. And, like, Molly describes the kids as, like, kicking and screaming and crying and don't want to go. The kids don't describe it like that. The kids describe being sad, not really sure what's going on, but like kind of going?
But even if they were kicking and screaming, I would totally get it.
Yeah.
They're young kids. They're 8 and 10 years old.
She's their mother to them.
And this is the only mother they knew because their other mother died when they were very, very young. And Molly has been grooming them and brainwashing them.
Yeah.
Their dad just died. Like, now they're going to go to these people, live with these people they haven't seen in at least 7 years.
Yeah.
Like, that I would
and
understand.
And it's starting all over.
I would understand if they were kicking and screaming, saying, I don't want to go. Who are you?
Yeah,
Where are you taking me?
When Molly says, I never saw them again, I just wrote, thank God. Because I had no idea where this was going.
I know. So Ireland is up in arms over this case. Everyone is coming out and showing their support.
Which is good, but also bad. It's like the kids come back, they just want to be normal kids. And like all of the media circus around this, like the long protracted funeral, it's all just sort of, for the kids, it's all very hard.
And you know what else is making it harder? Molly, because now it's like forced no contact with the kids.
Yeah.
Molly is going on social media to try to get in touch with Jack and Sarah. So she's posting, it's very childish, very manipulative, but she's posting photos with emotional captions like a birthday cake saying, tomorrow you will be 11, Jack. I ache to speak to you.
Yes.
She's also using the media in Ireland, like she's going on radio shows
She
crying.
hired an airplane to fly over their school with a message.
She's like going on social media, tracking people down, being like, you're in class with Jack, right? Can you give him a message for me?
It's so sick. And it's like, this is how you can tell how sick she is. Because if it was actually about the welfare of the kids, she'd be doing it the right way. And one thing I wanted to point out is that David and Tracy, the aunt and the uncle, are trained foster parents.
Right.
Which I was like, oh my God. So they say, like, we had a leg out. Like, this is the thing about foster care. We had so much training to deal with traumatized kids. Because those are mostly the kinds of kids that you get in the foster care system.
Yeah, because Jack and Sarah are explaining, like, our guards were up.
Yes,
we didn't know what to do. Like, what, you're going to, like, feel comfortable in this family too, and then they're going to get ripped away from you? So it was really, really hard for them. Even though it's family, like, their heads are spinning.
Yeah,
of course they are.
Of course.
So we get the toxicology report back. Molly and her dad are saying that Jason was hammered. Like, fall down drunk hammered. Guess what? That's a fucking lie.
The number is 0.02. It's legal to drive in North Carolina at a 0.08. At the time he died, he was not drunk.
He wasn't even close to drunk at the time he died.
And you're like, why? Like you asked before, like, why would the ex-FBI dad lie about something that's so provable? And I'm like, well, in my experience, to some people, it doesn't, how provable the lie is doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, we've seen it many times with Molly, the godmother story, the fake sister with cancer saying she gave birth to Sarah. These are all provable lies. She doesn't care.
Jason also had some of Molly's sleep medication tranquilizer in his system, and Wanda's like, did he take it voluntarily? Did they slip it to him against his will?
Like, he wasn't prescribed the trazodone, she was.
Right. And
so
Wanda says, we'll never know, but it's setting off flags for her.
Yeah. And also, when it comes to Jason's injuries, his injuries were on the back and the side of his head.
Right.
So when Tom is saying that Jason's like squaring up to hit Tom with something.
Because that would be self-defense. Self-defense, I believe it's not, if you shoot somebody in the back, it's not self-defense.
Well, that's the thing, because he said the blood was everywhere. And the blood was found in more than one room. The primary bathroom, the hallway, the bedroom. Like, the expert says that Jason was being hit after he was already down on the floor and from behind. So it doesn't matter. This, like, ADA Allen says, this is murder with malice, because even if it started as self-defense, that first hit, let's just say, for the sake of argument, which is not true, but let's just say that first hit with the baseball bat was to get him away from Molly. It didn't end that way.
No, and Wanda says once the person stops being aggressive, you have to stop.
And then it no longer self-defense, then it becomes murder with malice.
Exactly.
So they're charged with murder. They get $200,000 bail each. They have to surrender their passports. No contact with Jason's family, specifically the kids, Jack and Sarah.
Thank God.
So it's 5 months after Jason's death, and Jack and Sarah are still back in Ireland. And, like, Jack is really struggling here.
Sarah's like doing great. She's like easy to make friends, and but Jack is just like he loved his life in North Carolina, and now he's back there. He doesn't know who he can trust. He doesn't know. He has having a hard time meeting people. I think the fact that like they're kind of celebrities now because everybody in Ireland knows the case.
For the worst reason ever.
For the worst, and every time somebody talks to them about it, they have to relive their trauma.
And Molly isn't letting them heal by endlessly trying to get in touch with them. And so Jack, and remember, she's groomed them and manipulated them and brainwashed them. So Jack, in like a moment of loneliness and sadness, and I completely understand.
Of course.
Secretly calls Molly. He's not allowed to. They're not supposed to be speaking, but they have this kind of like secret little back and forth communication.
The first thing, we hear the message, and the first thing that Jack says is, this is Jack, this can't go public. I miss you and I love you. Keep fighting really hard. I want to know how you are. I love you so much. Call me pretty, please.
And then it was just released to the press. which was just a huge betrayal. And that was kind of when my perspective changed, and I started to look things up, and I started to find out what really happened and gain my own opinions and see what the truth really was.
The first thing he says is this can't go public.
And what's the first thing Molly does?
She sends it right to the press.
She is using these kids as pawns.
Yes.
She's using it to say, see, they miss me, they love me.
Yeah.
Like you should, instead of helping them work, if the truth was really their father was abusive and to save myself and them, I had to kill him.
And like, there is a way this could have worked. It's like, look, I was a foster parent. I know how this works. Like, I mean, she has no legal claim to these kids, but the right thing to do if she loved these kids, write to Tracy and David. Send them letters.
Have an open letter of communication.
Say like, here's a letter to Jack and to Sarah. You can read it first. Please pass it to them so they know I'm thinking about them.
She wanted these kids. She didn't even want Jason in the picture from the beginning.
Yes.
She didn't. She doesn't. Mags doesn't exist. Their mother, their birth mother. The family can't exist. She doesn't. She wants her and Sarah and Jack to be this little unit, and none of the other people who very much exist in their lives can exist in Molly's world.
Yeah, and so in response to Molly completely fucking him with this, like taking this message public, which like he could have gotten in trouble for, Jack says that was when he started to look things up and find out what happened on his own, form his own opinions.
It kind of shook him awake.
Yeah, and so like in the middle of D.A. Allen preparing for the trial, they get word from Jack's family that he wants to like talk to the DA and tell them the real truth about what happened. Yeah.
Jack flipped, and it's 9 months after Jason's death, he flips.
Yeah.
And he makes an official statement to the prosecution, and he's there with a child psychologist while he's making the statement.
Yeah, and he says,
Molly made me lie to the people who were interviewing me. She made up a lot of stories about my dad, he said that she was very abusive and she wasn't lying. Then she started crying. And she said, I'd never see you again, and I didn't know what was going on.
She said, if I didn't say this, we would never see her again. Saying that to a vulnerable 8-year-old who knows nobody else.
Right. And Sarah confirms this. She said, I just lost my dad. I said what Molly told me to say. And now there's sort of a major aha moment as the viewer of like, they're here and they say as much. Jack and Sarah are doing this doc to tell the truth and tell the truth about their father and try to get justice for him.
And what happens is Jack's story about Molly made him lie comes to light as they're preparing to go to trial. And so when all of this evidence is presented to the judge decides those early recordings, the interviews that were made when Jack was 10 and Sarah was 8 are not going to be admissible.
Because they're bullshit.
Because they're lies.
Right.
And so the jury is never going to hear the bullshit lies that Jason was abusing Molly.
Understandable lies, they were children, but everything they said was bullshit.
Yes,
coached by Molly, which it was so obvious by the words they used and their demeanor. It was very clear, but we just needed official confirmation that was the case.
Exactly.
So everyone's like, why did this happen? Let's go to the emails.
Yeah, and so Tracy's going through the emails and the messages. She's getting DMs from their neighbors, and she's learning that, like, their relationship was fucked. Like, and it was actually Molly who was abusive to Jason.
Very much so.
Yes.
And Jason, there are emails from Jason to Molly, Jason saying, is there anything I can do to make you happy? I've done everything. You still hate yourself, hit yourself, cry in the shower, vomit, curse, shout at me. I feel so inadequate. I've done everything. Nothing is ever enough. I don't know what to do. And then Molly goes like, well, no matter what you think, something's wrong. Like this is really bad and really manipulative.
And we're getting stories from the neighbors that like Molly's fat shaming him in front of people at parties.
It says, Jason and Molly were at a party the Friday before his death, and she was belittling him, calling him a fat ass, saying that he must have taken all the nutrition from his twin because he looked like he had eaten for 2.
Belittling him and making him feel so bad that he leaves events early and just like publicly humiliating him in front of their friends, like the friends that she dragged him to meet from Ireland.
And like Tracy's got all the records. He is texting his other friends, calling Molly crazy, saying he can't wait to get out of there. He's hoping to get back to Ireland with the kids without her.
The relationship is essentially over.
Yes.
Jason is about to leave Molly with the kids. And as we know, this is the most dangerous time for someone in an abusive situation.
Yes.
And he was telling people about it, which is the smart thing to do if you can do it.
Right.
I'm not saying if you don't do it, you're an idiot. I'm just saying,
of course.
We have proof of him saying, I've done everything I can. She's abusive. This is horrible. I'm taking my kids home with me to Ireland.
Yes.
And there was a very very clear plan of this. So it's July 2017. We're already at closing arguments of the trial.
Yeah, there's a reason why we're going to breeze right over this. So basically, Molly and Tom are convicted of second-degree murder. They each get 20 to 25 years. Like, there's still half a documentary to get through.
Why are they both sitting here not in jumpsuits, and why do we still have 50 minutes left of this thing?
Exactly.
So they're like, okay, great. Jason's family is going to try to heal now.
And like Jack and Sarah are finally feeling like they can finally breathe. They settle into the family with Tracy and David. They're like, these are my mom and dad. These are my brothers. Like, they feel good and secure for the first time in their lives.
And they're happy to be in Ireland. They want to be away from Molly and her family. They just want to heal and do what they can to put this behind them in a healthy way and just grieve both of their parents.
Yes.
And just sort of do the best they can. Everything was great until it wasn't.
Right.
And now we meet these two fucking asshole pieces of shit.
Yeah.
The lawyers for the two murderers.
Jay and Doug. And like, you can tell as they are even telling the story that even they don't believe the stories that they're telling.
Why are you here?
I know, exactly.
Why are you here doing such a disservice to real survivors of abuse? I ask you.
And ruining these kids' lives all over again.
So they're like, oh, we're going to tell you what really happened. I'm like, yeah, fucking right.
Let me save us 30 minutes. What their story of what really happened is what Jack and Sarah told the very first interviews, like the lies that Molly made them tell. What these lawyers are saying is, we found this old interview that the first jury never saw. We've seen all of this.
Because the judge ruled that it's bullshit, because it is. So what they're going to do is they're going to take these lies, the statements, and I'm not saying that disparagingly.
Yes.
What the kids were groomed to say when they were 8 and 10 years old, and then reverse engineer a story to make it look like Jason's abusive.
And like, this is basically what happens. Like, we learn that they take this to the North Carolina Court of Appeals. They side with the bad guys. It goes to the North Carolina Supreme Court, who also sides with the bad guys, which means that Molly and Tom, the killers, are given a new trial and let go. And when the new trial happens, these tapes are now going to be admissible.
Right. Even though we know that they're bullshit. And the reason nobody heard them is because they're lies that Molly fed the kids.
I just saved you all 40 minutes.
Thank you. Also, do you want to know about the brick on the nightstand? You want to know that lie?
Yeah.
The brick on the nightstand was there supposedly because Molly and the kids were going to paint it and put it by the mailbox, which is very cute.
Right.
Kind of a weird place to keep the brick,
let's just keep it right by the nightstand. Also, we're going to learn that, like, Molly's family was laying the groundwork for this kind of shit the whole time. The grandmother gave Jack and Sarah each a password.
I would just say Peacock, and then I hung up the phone, and she would come over to our house. From Tennessee? Yeah. Do you remember when she came up with that? It's a few weeks before my dad died, the Peacock thing happened. And what about their phone numbers? Did you have those written down anywhere? We had one under a doll.
She also hid her phone number under a doll in one of their bedrooms so the kids would have it and their dad wouldn't know that they had it.
Yeah, it's all ridiculous.
But the point of it is to lay the groundwork so that someday they can say, look, they needed a password. Look, they needed to hide the phone number.
Right. And on top of that, Molly starts, quote, documenting the abuse. And that Molly... And again, I am talking only about Molly in this specific situation.
Yes.
She tries really hard to convince us that Jason was abusive, but she's honestly not even trying that hard because everything she says, it's all very vague.
Yes.
No emotion, not one single specific story. But we have this, quote, documentation. She's documenting the abuse, but she also tells us she's documenting, quote, motherhood. So that there would be a record that I was their mom.
Yeah.
Her whole motivation is keeping these kids, and she tells us a million times herself.
What is so infuriating and was very hard to watch and listen to was that somebody in the neighborhood, a family attorney, tells Molly she needs to document the abuse. And by that, Molly takes that to mean secretly recording Jason.
She calls them voice-activated recording devices.
She's hiding them all over the house. Jason doesn't know they're there. I was very nervous about talking about this because...
Why?
Because I believe victims, right? Like, I believe when people say that they are being abused. I believe that.
Right.
But what we know of Molly is that she is manipulating everything to try to, A, turn the kids on Jason. She's trying to isolate the kids from Jason. And so we hear these excerpts of these tapes in the presence of Molly's new legal team.
They think that they're damning. They think this is a bombshell.
So Jason is yelling at Molly, but what he's yelling at her is...
Can you look at me? Can you have some respect? I asked you to have dinner with my family. You said you were feeding the kids. That's why I said no, because you ignored what I asked her about dinner with my family.
Go and sit down and finish your food.
Who cares what he says? Don't send him out of the room again when I'm talking. You don't have the right.
can I be alone with my kids for half an hour? Can you leave me alone to be with my kids for a little bit? Like, Jason is fully aware that Molly is trying to turn the kids against him, and that's what he's yelling at her about.
Because he's upset. They play this, and they're kind of smirking like, get a load of this.
Like, we got him.
This is a nothing burger.
Right.
Jason's upset because he wanted to have dinner with his kids, and he wanted Molly to wait for him. She didn't wait for him. Jason says, well, that's what I asked, and you ignored it, and you fed them anyway.
Yes.
Molly argues semantics with him. She's picking fights because she's trying to get, she knows it's being recorded.
And he doesn't.
He doesn't.
Right.
So she's playing the demure little flower.
Yeah.
And she's baiting him, and she's trying to get the reaction she wants to send off and say, see.
Right,
She knows exactly what she's doing.
Yeah.
So Molly is picking the fight with him.
Right,
And she
right,
goes,
right.
well, I asked you if you wanted soup, and you said no. And Jason goes, well, I didn't want soup.
What a tactic to secretly record a call and pick a fight.
And like, are you kidding me? And he's like, well, I thought we were eating as a family, Molly, so I said no to the soup.
Yeah.
Like, don't
Right.
make arguments where there aren't any.
And when you hear Jason on these tapes saying, I know you're going to try to take my kids, but I'm going to take them from you.
And they,
like, Jason is fully on. They're saying that is abusive to her.
Break.
He is fully on to her.
But the expert goes, or whatever her expert is, for lack of a better term, this guy who's smirking, thinking that he's going to convince us that Jason was the abuser. Jason doesn't want a solution to a problem. He wants a problem to complain about. I'm like, did you listen to the same thing I did?
I know.
She's the one bitching about soup.
I know.
She's picking a fight where there isn't one. And then Molly tries to discipline the kids mid-fight and
she's
send
trying
them out of the room.
Yes.
And Jason says, don't send them out of the room when I'm speaking to them. He says, you don't have the right.
Yes.
And she doesn't.
No.
I feel insane.
Yeah.
But like, she's so clearly pushing him.
In another context, though, that would be so fucked up.
That's
you know what I mean?
I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm talking about this context. Molly is doing all of this on purpose.
Yeah.
And she's recording this thing because where's the audio from the night of the murder, girl?
But like, where's the audio of him hitting her or choking her?
This is the best you got.
Right.
You manipulating him every step of the way and picking a fight to make him angry at you?
What is so heartbreaking?
Where's the audio from the night of the murder?
Right.
Nowhere. It doesn't exist.
Right.
I thought your father was up there protecting you. That's what you had the recordings for.
Well, and if she's hiding these recording devices all over the house, you would think there'd be several in the bedroom.
It's infuriating. This is the best you have.
And what's so sad to me, the thing that really broke my heart was you hear Sarah at one point just go, "Stop fighting!"
Of course she did.
But it's not Jason that's abusing her, and it's
Molly.
It's Molly. Like Molly is creating that trauma in Sarah in that moment.
The thing is, if you go even back further, Jason made a request. She didn't make that request on purpose to make him mad. She knew that he wanted to have a family dinner with his kids.
Right.
She purposely robbed him of that to record him and make him mad about it.
Right.
That's fucked.
And like, my thing to these experts is, you know that. They know that.
They have to know that.
They know that. So it's like you're just lying? Like you're getting paid to knowingly lie?
Like, anyone making a secret recording in a relationship can manipulate it.
Of
like,
course.
Or in any relationship,
Of course.
romantic or otherwise.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so like fucking obvious. So Jack, this is where it's all coming to a head.
When I kind of really started to notice it was when I found the recording device in my dad's car and I showed it to him. And he was absolutely shocked to see it in there. And he said, how do you feel about moving back to Ireland? And Sarah said, without mommy. And my dad said, yes. And I knew Molly would not like that.
What if we all went back to Ireland without Molly? Like, this is what I mean. It happens to all types of people, everyone. Men, women, non-binary, trans. It happens to everyone. He's about to leave. It is the most dangerous time for someone in an abusive relationship, and we are living it.
Well, and now we finally find out why Tom and Sharon, the grandparents, are there for the weekend. So in Tom's interview, he's like, oh, we had nothing going on that weekend. It was a 4-hour drive. It was a nice weekend. We thought we would just go visit the family.
It's a beautiful day. Let's spend it driving 4 hours to Molly's house. Let's make that decision spur of the moment.
Totally.
And let's, without asking a family with 2 young children if
that's
it's cool
okay.
with them.
Right, yeah. And so Alan, the DA, is like, that is not true. We found out that he had a very important business meeting with his boss that night that he canceled last minute. Like, once again, Tom, did you not plan to get away with this at all?
So this like lackadaisical Saturday story is bullshit.
And so what really happened? Was Molly like, today's the day, Dad, you got to get here?
And like, were you fired from the FBI? Because you weren't very good at this.
Not very good at this.
The ADA was like, he knows the art of interrogation. He taught others. He's lying about provable things like how hammered Jason was. Jason maybe had half a glass of wine.
Right. But I'm really wondering, like, what did he know he had to get there that day? Because Molly's like, today, they're going to leave. I need you here now.
Well, the prosecution's theory is that Tom did not drive 4 hours across state lines to commit murder.
Yeah.
But Molly manipulated what he calls an explosive event. So she wanted Jason to blow up and have her parents there as witnesses.
And they're saying not to kill him.
She could apply for a domestic violence protective order, which would remove him from the house. And then she could file for emergency custody of the children and take his children away from him.
And then she could file for emergency custody of the kids.
So then
it's so fucked.
It's so fucked. And then the theory is that this event that she manipulated got violent.
Yes.
And Jason died. And that is, for lack of a better term, good for Molly because it's also a way to get his kids.
But my thinking there is I just don't think that she could have done anything that would have pushed him to actually choke her in front of her dad.
No, I think she lied to her father.
So it got violent somehow. Maybe
Yeah.
Was she the one that got violent?
Probably. And then it also doesn't matter. Like she could scream from upstairs, Dad, he's gonna kill me. And then things got bad. Things got a little too out of hand.
Yeah.
And then Tom, ex-FBI, says this is what we say.
Well, it's funny because he's not gonna like lay hands on her, but I could see like the shitty fucking grandpa comes into the room and now all of a sudden the fight is on.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And then so Tom can say Molly never hit him. I
Yeah.
did. And I was defending my daughter. Oh, that's why Jason's body was cold when the EMTs got there. Because ex-FBI Tom said, we gotta, hold on.
Yeah.
They're not gonna that's what happened.
Yeah.
They came up with the story.
Oh my God. So it's 7 years after Jason's death. We're at the pretrial hearing. And this is where we saw the footage from the beginning of like Jack and Sarah getting in the car. They're going to be there for the pretrial hearing. And they don't even have a date yet set for the new trial.
Yeah.
And they're hoping it's going to be the summer.
It's weird because Molly won't even look at the kids, Molly and her father. And I'm like, weren't the kids the whole point because you love them so much?
The thing.
Like,
they walk in. They haven't seen Molly in 7 years and she won't even look at them.
Like, and then I'm just like, oh my God, these people, even when you're watching them in a documentary, they make you feel crazy. Like the people who lie like this, they make you feel insane because I'm like, I thought you loved them so much. And I'm like, Jillian, shut up.
Well,
it doesn't matter. They don't care. No one's listening.
No,
you're screaming into the void yet again.
And Jack is now telling us what it was really like when they moved to America the first time. That it was actually not like the bed of roses that he was saying it was. That especially with his relationship with Molly.
Myself and Sarah used to have pictures of our biological mother in our rooms. And she took the picture off me and hid it. I feel that Molly wanted to be the only mother that existed, that there was no one else before her.
Molly took it and hid it and wouldn't give it back.
That is a major red flag.
It's insane. And he's saying Molly was much closer with Sarah. She was a star child. There was one time that his dad left for a work trip and Jack had the audacity to say that he loved his dad as his dad was walking out the door. Molly chases him up the stairs and trashes his bedroom.
Which, first of all, is proof that she's violent.
Yes.
Number one.
Yes.
And what is that quote where it's like accusations are really confessions with these people? Where it's like Molly's giving all these statements about Jason, quote, flying off the handle. Meanwhile.
Right, exactly.
Jason's own son can't be like, love you, Dad, see you later, without her destroying. Like, and again, like, I just want to go back for 2 seconds about not letting them have pictures of their mother.
Oh, yeah.
That is like, oh, she's fucking out of her mind. She's trying to replace Mags. And also Mags didn't exist.
Right.
And like, it's not okay. Like, you don't give a shit about these kids. You don't give a shit about them.
Why does she need to have them?
I think it's fun for these people. Honestly, like, I think she needs to win. And it's all, because again, like, she's even pitting Jack and Sarah against each other.
Yeah.
And then like, she would always be like, well, don't you love me? What, you only love your father? You don't love me? It's this weird competition. Like, we'll never be able to make sense of it.
Yeah.
It's infuriating to me.
Speaking of things we're not going to be able to make sense of, we're going to go through this quickly, but we take this left turn now where Molly's whole family is now trying to say that Jason actually killed Mags, his first wife.
I mean,
it's literally insane. And Tom, I don't know how this meeting happened or why, but Tom is saying that he once had Mags's parents over to his house in wherever he lives in Tennessee for a drink one night and asked the dad what he thought of Jason. And the dad said, I think he killed my daughter.
We have the audio of Tom telling the story to the cops. He's going on about Mags's dad. He's, quote, not a very educated man, very hard to understand. It's another dog whistle.
Right.
You could hear it by the way he says his name. He's like, his name is Mikey Fitzpatrick.
Right.
Kind of like a dumb drunk Irishman, like, oh, you know the type.
But he truly believes this guy is stupid because we are going to get an affidavit from the dad later on where he's like, I never fucking said that. I met this guy one time.
Right.
I loved my daughter. I loved Jason. Jason was my son.
Right.
I have no thought that he killed my daughter.
Right.
And then, like, we're going to get this whole conspiracy that she died of the asthma attack. Now, I said earlier that sounded weird. I didn't mean that. I wasn't implying anything nefarious. It just that I've not
You've never heard it before.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, like, we get the account from Mags's sister, Catherine, who was there when Mags died. And she said, Jason pounded on my door at 2 a.m. Mags having a really bad episode. I went to the kitchen. Mags had her asthma inhaler. She was doing everything she could. Jason was doing everything she could, and she died. And it was tragic.
Right.
Like, and like, once again, Tom, former FBI, telling this lie that is so easily disprovable.
I know.
I mean, the pathology runs in the family.
100%. I think she learned the apple does not fall far from the tree.
Yeah.
As we've said in seemingly every episode lately.
Right.
But moving on from this bullshit.
Yeah, it never happened.
Never happened. God. So, but it gets, they actually try to pin it on Sarah in a minute, which makes me insane.
Yeah.
October 23rd, 2023, 8 years after Jason's death, the prosecution is like, look, these people are real slimy and we don't want to take any chances. We don't want anything to go sideways at trial. They're playing real dirty.
Yeah.
We don't want to mess with this. So they try to start some plea negotiations.
Molly Corbett, she pled no contest to that charge of voluntary manslaughter. And Thomas Martins, he pled guilty to the charge of voluntary manslaughter. Now, they also say his exemplary career in the FBI and upholding the law should warrant an easier sentence.
So both sides lay out their cases to the judge, and now the judge decides the sentences.
Yeah.
Like, are they going to get time served? Are they going to be free? Jason's family's terrified.
I mean, their previous sentence was like, what, 25 to 50 years?
Yeah.
You know, like.
And so in this hearing, Molly's lawyers bring up all of the mysterious death and all this bullshit that we just deemed bullshit. Then they blame Sarah for both deaths.
For waking up both times.
Yeah, she had a nightmare when Jason died, and she was hungry or something when Mags died. She was just existing as a young child.
Yeah.
These people are fucking vile. And they're all sitting here telling us, looking me in the face and telling me that this all makes sense.
Yeah.
And that they're on the right side of history.
Yeah, and then Jack and Sarah get to give their victim impact statements. I wish that we could have heard them read live. I think it's a voiceover from
they're
later.
They're all online, too.
Yeah, they're in the car on the way.
This is my favorite part.
It's so amazing. They're on the way to court to deliver their victim impact statements, and they put on a song called Chicken Fried, which is the song that Jack used to listen to with his dad. And it's this like Southern country song that they're all singing and holding each other's hands. But then they get to the courthouse.
Time for crying is over. Now it's time to get angry. In there, head up, shoulders back. Fuck these people. They're lying to us.
Yeah.
Come on, Sarah, give it to us. What are we going to do?
Let's do it.
Fuck these people. They are nothing to us.
David, get that tattooed. Put it in the Louvre.
He's like, tits out, you guys.
Let's
tits
fucking go.
I
Purse
know.
first. Let's do this.
Totally.
So they make their statements. Their dad was never abusive. Molly and her family have been horrifying.
Yeah.
Molly was grooming them, manipulating them. Their dad is a victim. Please don't be fooled by Molly and her family. Like, just begging the court. And so what ends up happening is that Molly and her father end up getting about 8 months for murdering Jason in maybe the most violent way that all the law enforcement and lawyers have ever seen in their lives.
Like in us.
Yeah. And Molly is still talking about herself.
Oh my God.
She's like, well, they certainly don't see me as their mother. They hate me.
Yeah.
And
I was their mother in another lifetime.
She's like, they think I'm awful and they think their dad was so wonderful. But will I always think of myself as their one and only mother? Yes, of course I will.
Oh my God.
Molly, you're out of your fucking mind.
I just like the last 5 minutes of this, I just like stopped taking notes because I was crying so hard. Because it's like
Jason's family.
I know, and like everyone's just trying to do the best they can. Like the kids are sad, but they're trying to do okay. And I don't know. I mean, this woman, she's just out there.
She's out there.
And she's gonna do this again.
And look, we know, I mean, unless she gets a new hairdo or whatever, like at least she's showing herself. Right? At least we can maybe be aware. Like, if you're in the Carolinas or Tennessee or wherever she is, like, just be careful. If someone you love is in her web, like, please tell them, show them this.
And that is the value of documentaries like this, is that, like, maybe they can save another family from this evil, evil woman.
And you know what? So, Sarah, I have some updates.
Okay.
Sarah is on TikTok. She's written 2 books.
Oh, my God.
A children's book called Noodle Loses Dad.
Oh, no.
And her new book is called A Time for Truth.
Okay.
And Tracy wrote a book called My Brother Jason. Molly's ex-fiance Keith also wrote a book long before anyone knew any of this.
Can we get like a new edition of that book, please? Thank you.
Please. She had no business being an au pair. She lied about all of it. There's also a lot that I read today that Netflix apparently left out. Like there was
I couldn't take 1 more minute of this documentary, so thank you.
There was a lot of evidence that Jason had plans to leave. Like,
oh, really?
Like there's apparently evidence that Molly found out about the plans. Like he usually kept his passports in his office. And I read today that like the passports were at home, kind of in a more accessible way and like as we know, this is the most dangerous time.
Yeah.
And so, like, apparently Molly's dad had shown up to Jason's office, like, demanding he be seen. I'm ex-FBI. Don't you know who I am?
No.
Yeah. Like, Jason's son, Jack, said that Molly's uncle Bobby took all of Jason's laptops, computers, phones, all his hard drives, and, like, no one knows where they are. So they were trying to get rid of, like, the proof that he was looking at flights or whatever.
Oh, my God.
So, like, Jason was out the door with his kids. And there's, like, more proof that it was right under Molly's nose.
Never imagined violence like this could happen to him.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. And it can happen to anybody.
To anybody.
Like, people are fucking crazy.
Ugh. Girl, I can't say the name of it. What's it called?
A Deadly American Marriage.
I mean, oh my God.
Fuck you, Molly, and fuck you, Tom. Hate you both. Hope you have miserable days.
She's
have
probably
the
a
day you deserve.
subscriber. She probably listens.
I hope she doesn't. I don't want it.
Me too.
I don't want the download. I don't want the click.
Get out of here.
Get out.
Get out. Fam, don't forget, check us out over on our Discord. How do they find it?
It's we have a link to it in this very episode in our show notes.
Okay, great. And like in the Facebook group, I'm sure there's a featured post or whatever.
Yeah, it's very fun.
And go watch us on YouTube.
Yeah.
We have over 10,000 subscribers.
That's amazing.
Isn't that amazing?
That is amazing. I hope you're all enjoying it, everyone.
I
it's
look
like
at
this,
it.
only
I
you
love
can
it.
watch it.
Hey, like imagine watching this. Like it's like we have a TV
At
show
least
now.
10,000 people are doing it, which is crazy.
What are we doing next?
Worst Roommate Ever, episode 3, Burning Down the House.
God, more of that show. I love that show.
It's very well done.
It is.
I mean, at least we're trying to get awareness with all these horrifying documentaries. You know?
I know. It's true.
Stay safe out there, everyone. We love you.
Yeah, we love you. Stay tuned for the trailer for that, and we'll see you next time.
We love you, except if you're Molly or Tom.
Then we hate you then.
We hate you so much.
Okay, bye.
Just want to be clear about that. It's very important to me that I'm clear about that.
Totally. Crystal
Clear. Great name.